Welcome to Nancy and Nicole. Real life, real talk.
Let's roll.
Yes.
All right. Friend, what are we talking about today?
The holidays
Ooh,
and
yeah.
expectations, because 'tis the season for
You
so
know,
many things.
there's almost a holiday. I mean, people have stuff about a lot of different holidays, but I do think from you know, mid-November on is kind of loaded for sure.
Well, these are the ones that you tend to get together with extended family. A lot of the other ones throughout the year, maybe you celebrate them with your own individual family, or
Yep.
maybe even not. But this is when it all comes together, all of the
Yeah.
different pieces.
Can I just tell you what next week looks like in my family? So
Yeah.
my mother-in-law, who's no longer with us, but we still honor her birthday,
Hmm.
is and oh no, wait, before that is my birthday and then her birthday and Thanksgiving and Leah's and my anniversary all in 1 week.
Wow. That's a busy week.
Leah hates it.
Does she?
It's just because, there's a lot of expectations all the
Yeah,
way around.
I bet.
And I have always kind of been somebody who really loves sort of to do my birthday big. So that's a separate thing. It's changed as I've gotten older.
Yeah.
But we both also grew up with I mean, just thinking about Thanksgiving, well, actually, both holidays coming up. For us, Thanksgiving and Christmas, wildly different experiences in our families of origin growing up. So
Same.
that influenced, in fact, when Leah and I first started dating, we met in late November. And so a couple weeks later, we just started dating and it's Christmas. And so we're meeting downtown Seattle and we're going to go shopping and window shopping. And I am giddy and it's pouring down rain. And I don't even care. I got this new crush. Maybe I'm in love. I don't know yet. And it's Christmas. And she just looked at me like I was lunatic land. And she's like, "Yeah, that's not really how I do Christmas." I was like,
Oh,
"What do you mean?" Um, and it was one of those moments of like, I don't know if I can be with somebody who doesn't get excited about Christmas.
right.
Obviously, I got over it, but I'd never met anybody, I don't think, or maybe it was just somebody that mattered, who didn't have the same experience for me as me, who got excited, little kid, all that stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, isn't that interesting? Yeah, Gary and I grew up very different as well. I grew
Yeah.
up, my dad was military, so we lived all over. So it was always just us. So my mom,
Yeah.
my dad, my sister, and I. Both of my grandparents live. Well, my dad's parents actually passed when I was pretty young,
Mm,
but his family was in Cleveland. My mom's family was in Albuquerque, and for whatever reason, we just didn't travel. We just kind of hung out where we were, and um, we did have a couple of traditions, not a ton. And then, Gary grew up, he's one of five kids. In fact, God bless his dad's wife at the time, so I come in, I'm used to four people. I show up, there's 22 people, and it's just loud and blah. And she goes, honey, you come sit right here next to me. I'll get you through this thing. And they're all awesome people. I just love, I love them all. And I did from the beginning, but I was
yeah.
like, "Oh, we roll a little different in our house." It's a much more subdued experience,
Yeah.
when we would get together for the holidays, and, and I love them both, and it's been an interesting thing then when Gary and I got together of how do we like, what's important to us? What are our experience? Because I do, we have an experiences versus stuff thing in our house, A, for
Have
gifts,
you
but
always
also
had that, or has that been more in the last 10 years?
I would say it's in the last 10 years. It came from being a boy mom, quite honestly. Boys are tough to buy for. Girls, there's usually like some jewelry or trinket. They don't want anything. And we are not very much on the delayed gratification in our house. So it used to crack me up every year because they would
Oh, I
order their
love that.
baseball bats, which if you have kids that play baseball, ridiculously expensive. You order them in
Really?
October, like hundreds of dollars. And then the new bat, because you always need a new bat for the season, shows up in November and Gary would give it to the darn kids. I'm like, hello, could we like put a bow on that thing? But no. So now they got all their gear and we didn't know what to do. So we started experiences versus stuff, which, satisfies my travel soul. and was a good way for me to get everybody on board. And it was funny because the first trip, they're like, oh, mom's in charge. This could potentially suck. Um, and then we went to Boston, actually, was the first one. And this was during the spring or fall. We saw the Red Sox play, and they're like, okay, we'll go with mom. She knows what she's doing. But that's how we started it, really. And while I do love giving gifts, I don't think I'm a particularly creative, thoughtful gift giver. Some people just show
It's
up and
hard.
it's not even necessarily like a big, extravagant gift, but they just give you something and you're like, oh, that was so thoughtful. Yeah, I'm not that person. I so want to be that person and I'm just not. And it does, I don't feel good about
But you
just
send
when
flowers. That's
I
pretty
do
good.
love flowers. That's my thing. But again,
Yeah.
boys, and they're like, whatever. Um,
You can send me
but
flowers anytime.
okay, I will. Note to self. But the whole like just spend money part of the holidays to just buy a bunch of stuff that then they're like, nah. Also, Gary's one of five kids, so we would always do Christmas Eve with his family, and literally they were always so generous. But our kids would come home on sensory overload with so much stuff that by the time they got to Christmas, even with Santa, they're like, that's cool. And then they just walk away. I'm like, okay,
Yeah.
that's not working for me. So I selfishly would rather spend the money on a trip. And I mean, we've done some really cool things, but that's how it all
Yeah.
started.
Interesting. Well, and for us, so my parents divorced when I was like 12 or something. So there's the added layer that I think so many people have to deal with. I mean, I think that is blended families. Like, do you
Yep.
spend, I remember the years. So my brother and his wife had kids way before we did. So he sort of showed the way of how screwed up Christmas morning can be because you start out at home with your kids opening stuff or Christmas, Santa stockings, whatever. And then you have to go to, for them, three different grandparents' house. Like my
Oh,
mom,
wow.
my dad, her parents, and then her family's extended family did something. I think they did stuff Christmas Eve. But like it's just, and you're doing that with small children who are
Yeah.
already exhausted and hyped up, either from sugar or just all the excitement.
Yeah.
I mean, it is a setup for disaster, I think. Eventually, um, a lot of marriages and divorces along the way, but my dad's then second and third wife, well, actually third and fourth wife, um, ended up befriending my mom. So we got to merge those two households
Oh,
as far as getting together, which in itself was kind of a whole other story, kind of amazing. But it is crazy. And so I I just think expectations are rampant in families in general, or just in relationships in general. But especially they're loaded around the holidays. It gets layer upon layer of complication of blended families. Do you have small kids? Is some of your family live out of area? And where do you travel?
right.
Um, and then aging parents.
Yes.
Because I remember thinking, like, we've continued the Chapin family tradition until both my parents were gone. What do you do around holiday stuff? Like,
Right.
who gets to decide? Um, I just, yeah. And I think as then our kids or nieces, nephews, whatever, grow up, they get partnered or married, and then they have kids. But it's just that three generations is hard. Um,
Yeah.
but we didn't ever travel either. Well, we go to Eastern Washington, but we actually split that out so that we go for Thanksgiving. And then
Hmm.
Christmas has always been the Chapin family. Got more complicated because, of course, my daughter's birthday is on Christmas Day. So
Oh,
that
gee.
changed everything about holidays.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you
Wow.
do stuff on Christmas Eve, Christmas Day, whatever? So how do you, as you and your family, navigate, and whether it's these holidays or sort of in
Right.
general, that sense of obligation? Like your boys are grown up now. Like how when you imagine them saying, "Hey, I'm going to go to so and so's house for Christmas or Thanksgiving," like how would that be for you?
Yeah. Because we're getting to that point, right?
I
Especially
know you
Alex
are.
is 21 and, he does have a amazing girlfriend that we just adore. But, and even this year, he's starting to lay groundwork of, hey, I'm not going to be, because she doesn't live here, right? She's going to go home and he
Right.
wants to go spend time with her, and I'm not going to be here the whole time. So what works for me is, I'll answer this question. There's one other part that goes with it is, I'm like, okay, what matters to me the most? Right. First of all, I want my kids to be happy, but Christmas is an important week.
Good that
So
that's first. That
yeah,
comes first.
right. So
Well, what about you, really?
but really it's about me. I'm happy when you're happy when I'm happy. It's a loop. So my thing for this year, and we're also at a phase where it will likely change from year to year. I'm like, I want you home the week of Christmas.
Mm.
That is important to me. I want to know that we have that time together. And you know what? If she wants to come, we adore her. They've been together a lot. Like, she is more than welcome. I want you in this state, at our house with our family for Christmas, the week of Christmas. Everything else we can, flex with. So I know that I've stated that. And then we can work with that, right? And for me, the holidays is, and I think the other thing about, we'll say the Thanksgiving to even New Year's Day timeline part of it, there's so many, it's not just the 3 days, Thanksgiving,
Oh,
Christmas
totally.
Day, New Year's Day. There's all of the light things and the holiday parties and the this and the that. And there's all these ways to celebrate it or participate, depending on the year. Um, it's easy to get caught up in checking things off the list. So I continually have to check in with myself and the family of, okay, what's important to us? Like, what do we want to show up for? What's the right thing for us to show up for, whether it's as a family or an individual or couples? And what are the things we're going to say no to? Because I have certainly gone through holidays where it's just the mad dash and I'm not present. I'm not enjoying anything. I'm not connecting. I'm not making memories, not in the social media, Instagram memory kind of thing. But, sometimes the holidays can be beautiful. You can have all of these great moments of connection, which can be just as beautiful over a cup of tea somewhere as it can be some big event. But, so we always plan some experience versus stuff, things as a family. Usually we would travel. This year we're not just with where the boys are at. We're not doing, we didn't know what their schedules were going to be to know what we could commit to travel wise. But like, we have a Seahawks game we're going to, and there's usually a concert that we'll go to and some kind of, you know, fun festive thing. We'll get our things in, but we make sure that we put those on the calendar, and then it's okay. Everybody else can do it. But
Yeah.
it's the communication piece that really seems to help with the expectations.
So I want to tell you a story because I'm just guessing somebody who's listening to this is going to relate to this story.
Yeah.
So as I have said, Christmas, huge Chapin family tradition. I In our family, decorating the tree is a thing. Like,
Mhm.
and for years we would go to, for those of you in Seattle and South Seattle, Chubby and Tubby, you could get a tree
Oh,
for
yeah.
$4.98 every
Mm.
year that maybe would last for a couple of weeks before it would lose all its needles. Um, so there's been lots of tradition about getting the tree and all this stuff. And a couple years ago, we didn't finish decorating the tree.
Mhm.
Like, I felt like I was pushing uphill to try and get other people excited about it. And it's, takes a lot of time and doing it just right, because of course we want to just right, all that stuff. And it was so challenging for me to deal with my expectations, because the reality is those guys don't feel the same way about it. It is
Yeah.
not their tradition. It is mine. And they were fine if I wanted to do the decorations, get the tree up, but and the lights, but then, it's a whole other thing to get all the boxes out, decorate and
Yeah.
stuff. And I just it was really hard for me to be okay with the fact that what is important to me may not be important to other people, may not be important in the same way, or that, well, we did it and we've done it other years, but they're not going to feel the same way about it that I do. I'm ridiculously enthusiastic about the things that I'm enthusiastic about. And it is hard to match that energy for people who are not me. I get that. And the reality is sometimes I want people to be like more like that. Duh. I think we all want people who sort of reflect our values or excitement or whatever. Um, so it's been interesting to sort of pay attention, especially as we're getting ready for this year. How can I move through that differently? And so one of the things is we have these really cool cut out paper snowflakes. They're about
Oh, yeah.
dinner plate size, intricately. Like one year, Leah and Molly made, I don't know, 125 of them or something. Like, and they have
Wow.
their people's names in it. They're so cool. Anyways, we're just about, I think this weekend we're going to be putting them up in the windows. And that actually is a really lovely piece of tradition that everybody gets excited about differently than the tree. So I think the reason I wanted to tell that story was sometimes you can put out there to the family is, I want everybody here this week. And as you were saying that, I was in my head thinking, and some year they're going to go, I'm sorry, mom, I'm going to be in wherever with whoever, or I'm going to be doing travel instead of, and it is just hard when that happens. And we have to let go of some of that um, expectation and attachment. I guess it's more about the attachment. I mean, and I think it's totally fine having the expectation, but just know, as a lot of Eastern religions have been telling us for thousands of years, like attachment is pretty much the source of suffering. And I can be attached to however it is I want Christmas to look like, and just know being attached to those expectations does not mean anybody else is responsible for meeting those. And I think
Yeah,
that
for
is
sure.
super challenging on any day in any moment in life. But boy, it gets ramped up around this time of year.
Yeah, for sure. And it's interesting. The tree is the same thing. I always had this vision when the kids were little, we were going to do it together because that's what we did. All of our ornaments are sentimental, right? No, I do the tree by myself every year. Um, and I've learned to reframe it because it is a very so I spend the day, right? And sometimes there's a couple tears about, oh, this one or that one. And it's my own
Yeah.
little walk down memory lane, but it is a solo walk. And to be clear, there's a lot of adjusting, reframing of expectations. Even like my boys, they go and work out on Christmas Day. I'm like, kidding me. As a
That is
I
not happening in my house.
Oh, I'm like, seriously, you can't give me one day? We can't, like, in my vision, we're all
Interesting.
together. I don't know, there's like hot cocoa and fuzzy socks. We're bonding. No, they go to the gym. Um, so, my week is even still, yes, will be evolving, but even my week is like, okay, let's reframe this sucker. Um,
See.
so now there's communication around, okay, here's your thing, like, here's your window, go do what you wanna do, because I do know if they don't go, then they're super pouty, and I'd actually rather they went to the gym than pouted about the fact that they couldn't go. Boys, I'm
So
selling you out. I love you.
I
Um,
know you're just like, where's the bus? They're under
I
it.
know. But this is the reality, right? Would I like it to be different? Yes, but it is
Yeah,
important to them, and they show up better when their needs have been met. So,
totally
I
get
can't
that.
say I've been like this from the beginning, but I have learned over time. Uh Just go. But here's the thing, here's the timeframes we're working on. I would like for you to be back at this time. They're happy to do it. And it is a better experience, even though it doesn't fit my expectation of what I would like this to be.
And you touched on something super important that I just want to point out, which is communication.
Yes.
Like, I think where it gets even muddier is when you have expectations, attachment to those expectations, but you're not communicating it.
And I've
Because
had
when
many
you can
years like
say,
that.
hey, guys, this is what I'm hoping for, and are super clear and direct about it, and real and owning your choice of
Yeah.
having some expectations, they can say yes, no, or maybe I'll modify it, maybe I won't, but at least it's clear. Because I do think the lack of communication just makes that all the harder.
Yeah.
Okay, I want to bring up one other part about the holidays that we have not touched on,
Oh, yeah.
and that is when well, there's two pieces, and this is maybe a whole other episode, which is when you don't celebrate the dominant holiday
Yeah.
in December. and or you are in a relationship and your family has different traditions. I mean, we've talked a little bit about how, if you're super pro Christmas versus meh, we just got to get through the
Yeah.
holidays. That's one thing. But when your religious beliefs and your faith, um, I years ago was in a long-term relationship. I had a girlfriend who was Jewish, and even though my dad's side of the family was Jewish, I wasn't really raised Jewish. There were a couple of years when my mom, who is not Jewish, tried to support. I think she was trying to get in good with her mother-in-law who didn't like her. But it was so eye-opening. And again, I was a lot younger and kind of dense about December and what that experience is in our American culture if you don't celebrate Christmas.
Yeah.
Um, and I think even just the fact we're having this podcast and not talking about the fact that the holidays mean a lot of different things for people in December.
Yeah.
I think the themes of expectation and obligation and attachment, all that stuff sort of is cross religion. But I do think there is a extra layer of challenge living in this culture if for whatever reason you don't celebrate Christmas.
Yeah. Or if you're just at a point in your life where maybe you don't have somebody to celebrate it with, or you have different things. I mean, I think there are also a lot of people who will say grew up celebrating Christmas or, you know, would celebrate, but it's just, there's a lot of people who would rather just skip to January 2nd right about now. And, it's
Yes.
supposed to be the happiest time of the year. The reality is it's not for a lot of people, no matter, like, regardless of whether you celebrate or not, or there's that whole fish out of water thing of, I don't know, making up names and labels and stuff, but do you celebrate it? Do you not? Or just what is this season like for you? It's not an awesome season for a lot of people. Um, and how do you be sensitive to that? I don't know. I don't have the answer to it, but it's always something that pops into my mind this time of year because it's a very tender time. Um, I don't know what your thoughts are on it.
This isn't the first Christmas since your dad passed, is it? It's the second?
The second.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I because I'm a little bit of a bull in a china shop sometimes. I know you know me well enough to know that I'm not that all the time, but I can be. Especially when I'm just like, tapping into my inner,
Uh,
however old, 5-year-old, 3-year-old, and that I am not always reading the room about other people's experiences around the holidays. And so for those of you who are in my life, know that I'm working on my sensitivity and and awareness. Read the room because I mean I will own it totally in my family. I think I try and I don't think I would have described it this way until this very moment, but I probably kind of just try and bulldoze, for lack of a better word, the holidays to be more of what I want. That's
right.
kind of maybe this maybe we'll do a post-holiday thing and we'll see how well I do at just being more present with what's true for people in my life, whether it's family or friends or whatever, because I do know that, especially in the world that we live in right now, where, all the statistics say that people feel more disconnected and alone and
Mhm.
invisible. How do we walk into this season with some more compassion and presence and just seeing one another? And being
Yeah.
able to meet one another and not have that be, come to a party, come on, you'll feel better. It's like, no, actually, maybe the best thing for that person is to not come to a party and
Yeah.
not feel crappy about it.
Yeah. That's always my question for the holidays is how to navigate that of just knowing it's a tender time for people, wanting to genuinely be respectful of that. Um, I believe part of my value is in being a light, meaning I want to I just want people to feel better, right? Whatever that means. or feel a little inspired or feel a little more connected or warmer. But how to do that, recognizing that, yeah, for some people, it's not the happiest time of the year. And like you said, we're all in no matter what, but especially right now, we're all having very different experiences
Mm,
of this current moment, world, market, reality, all of that.
yeah. Do you ever feel a little guilty that for the people who work in retail or hospitality and all those people who are absolutely busting their asses in December, that as realtors, it tends to be kind of slow and we get more time off. And sometimes I feel a little guilty about that, but I love it so much. It is one of the things about our industry that I'm super grateful. Not to say that I haven't had people ask me to go show them a house on
Uh-huh.
Christmas Eve, Christmas Day, or the day after, of which I have always said no. Um,
I always
that's
tell people it's bad karma. Like anytime I do something on a major holiday or like completely blow past a boundary, it never comes together.
I
Like,
love
I'm
that.
like, if you actually want this house, we shouldn't go look at it today because you're not going to get it. I just know this is how it rolls for me. So, like, I am doing a disservice to show up on Christmas Day and show you this house because you're going to love it and it's going to fall apart.
That
They're like,
you are
okay.
way nicer than I am. I just go, no, it's family day,
Yeah,
not doing
there's
it.
also that. Um, yeah, I don't know. December's a total mindset month for me. If I don't want to work, nothing shows up. If I feel like working, it's usually a pretty busy month.
I
Uh,
love that.
it just depends on if I show up or not.
Yeah. I mean, it is true that, I mean, people buy and sell real estate for 50 gazillion reasons, usually about what's happening in their life. And
Yeah.
a lot of it, you cannot schedule it.
Yeah.
It's not all about, oh, school, you want to get all moved in before school starts. It's like, yeah, for this many people.
Yeah.
But other people, if you're buying and selling in December, it's because you got stuff going on.
Yeah, and sometimes it's a good time, I think, because the rest of the world is preoccupied. Usually there's less work deadlines and things like that. So if you need to take a little time to get moved and things like that, you can find windows of time where you can just do
Yeah.
that a little easier in December.
Or just have more, if you have time off and you've been a buyer, you've got time to go look at houses too.
Yeah, totally.
In that week between Christmas and New Year's when I don't want to be out showing
Yeah,
houses.
there's that.
If you're out there and you want me to help you find a house that week, let me know. I'll do it. I'm not like never say never.
Don't not call me
Don't
because
not call me.
I might be
Exactly.
around. Just not Christmas Day because I'll boof
Okay, I
it.
got one last holidays question for you.
Oh, yeah.
Favorite food?
Cranberry sauce. My mom makes this cranberry sauce.
Oh,
It's
thank God you don't say the kind out of the can.
No, oh God, no. Although I did grow up eating that. It's not bad.
Oh,
But no, my mom makes this cranberry sauce and it's hilarious because it's like anyway, you put it in the blender, you don't even cook it. It's cranberry, apple, and an orange and some sweetener. It's like it's not the holidays without this cranberry sauce. And it cracks me up because my husband's family, we do have some different dietary stuff. And so it's kind of like I was vegetarian for 30 years. I eat meat now. But anyway, it was always like, what, Nicole, you do you. Just bring whatever you need. Right. So I'd always bring this cranberry sauce because it's my favorite thing. And I would get annoyed when they would take some because I'm like, I know you guys are just being polite. You're not going to actually eat it. And now you're taking some from me. Like, leave my cranberry sauce alone.
love it.
I don't know if they
That's really
actually like it
funny.
or not. But anyway, cranberry sauce is my go to holiday food. My
I
mom's
love that.
recipe specifically. How about you?
Mm-hmm. Um, cool. So many things, to be honest. From my childhood, my mom made a stuffing that I'm pretty sure was just a lot of butter and bread in the bird. Definitely an in the bird
Uh huh.
stuffing, which we have gotten away from, just to be clear. It's easier to cook the bird if it's not stuffed, so I'm told. My wife makes the best rolls in the
Oh,
world. Like melt in your mouth. Everybody wants Leah to bring the rolls. But she also makes perhaps the all-time ever, and I challenge anybody to challenge me on this, the best apple pie in
oh,
the world.
yum. Love pie. Favorite
Yeah,
dessert, pie.
yeah. So, it's hard for me to decide really which one, but
Mm.
although I'm
You,
kind of a
you can
pumpkin
have
pie
two.
person.
There's nothing that says you
Yeah.
can only have one.
And actually, my other favorite thing around the holidays, which we don't always do because it's kind of labor intensive and we're busy with other stuff, is family tradition on Leah's side of the family is to make these big, gooey, ridiculously fattening and good cinnamon rolls.
Oh, those are the best. Love that
Christmas
stuff.
morning with the cinnamon rolls. Mm.
Mhm.
Hint, hint, babe. Maybe we'll have them this year. We don't always. All right. Well, thanks everybody for joining
Yeah.
us as we were diving into the world of how to get through the holidays. Feel free to comment and let us know how you get through the holidays, what's important to you, how do you
Yes.
navigate it, what's your favorite food, and please like and share this and come back for the next episode.
Thanks, everybody.
See ya.
Bye.